Water makes up 60% of your body weight. It's literally everywhere inside of you, from your blood to your organs to your muscles. We literally can't live without water. But what happens if we only drink water for an extended period of time? To answer this question, let's break down exactly what happens to your body after 24 hours, 36 hours, and finally 48 hours. So stick around to the end of this video. Starting with 24 hours. After just 24 hours without any other drinks besides water, the first thing that will happen is that you'll most likely have a headache. That's because when you don't consume any kind of liquids besides water, it starts to flush out all the sugars and sodium from your body. This process of removing these substances from your blood causes them to become, which triggers your brain to send signals to your spinal cord to increase the amount of fluid in your body. Your body tries to get rid of excess salt by increasing your urine output, and this will cause dehydration, leading to headaches. In fact, one study found that mild dehydration lowered physical performance, while another showed that even slight dehydration caused people to report experiencing significantly more headaches. However, for some people, this doesn't kick in until they're severely dehydrated, which means that some people never experience it. Still, though, when it kicks in, it can be pretty bad. The next thing that will happen is that you'll feel tired. This is because your body needs a lot of water to function properly, and not having enough water can really slow you down. The exact amount of water needed varies from person to person, but on average, men should be getting about 15.5 cups of water per day, while women should be getting about 11.5 cups of water per day. When you don't get enough water, your body will start to feel sluggish, and you may find it difficult to focus on tasks or make decisions. On top of that, one study found that even slight dehydration impaired cognitive performance among healthy young men. Now, obviously, everyone is different, and some people might not notice any difference, but others could struggle to do simple mental tasks. But that's not all. Not drinking anything besides water for 24 hours will also make you feel very full. That's because your body has a natural balance of fluids and electrolytes, and when you remove certain drinks like coffee, tea, and soda from your diet, your body becomes unbalanced. This imbalance can trigger hunger hormones, like ghrelin, to tell your brain that you need to eat more food to bring your body back into balance. At the same time, it suppresses the hormones that signal fullness, like leptin. So, essentially, your body will think that you have uneaten in 24 hours, and it will try to force you to eat by making you feel hungry. So what happens after 36 hours of only drinking water? After 36 hours, the fatigue will set in, and this is because when you don't drink anything besides water for an extended period of time, your body starts to lose essential minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These minerals are important for many bodily functions, including muscle contraction and nerve impulses. So when you're low on these minerals, your muscles will start to feel weak, and you'll feel tired. On top of that, not drinking anything besides water for 36 hours will start to affect your kidneys. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering waste products from your blood and turning them into urine. But when you're dehydrated, your kidneys can't do their job properly and waste starts to build up in your bloodstream. This can lead to kidney failure and, in extreme cases, death. Now, again, you have to remember that everyone is different, and some people will experience these symptoms before others. For example, elite athletes who train their bodies to be efficient at conserving water might go much longer than 36 hours before experiencing these symptoms. But what actually happens after 48 hours of only drinking water? Well, by now you'll definitely be feeling weaker and lethargic, due to the lack of nutrients and minerals in your body. In fact, after just 48 hours, you can experience something called heat stroke. which is when your body gets too hot because it can no longer cool itself down. That's because when you're dehydrated, your body can't sweat as effectively. Sweating is how your body cools itself down. But when you're not taking in enough fluids, your body will start to overheat, and this can lead to heat stroke. Heat stroke is a serious condition that can cause permanent damage to your brain and other organs. If left untreated, it can be fatal, so it's important to take breaks. Stay in the shade and drink plenty of fluids when it's hot outside to prevent dehydration and heat stroke. In addition to that, after 48 hours of only drinking water, your metabolism will start to slow down. That's because your body uses water to transport nutrients to your cells. So when you're dehydrated, your cells don't get the nutrients they need and they start to shut down. Now, there's actually a term for this phenomenon. It's called autocannibalism, which occurs when the body begins to break down its own tissues for energy. And this isn't limited to fat tissue either. It actually affects every tissue in the body. When someone is severely dehydrated, their body will start to break down their own muscles and organs for energy. And this leads to severe weight loss. The average person loses about 2 pounds of water weight per day through things like sweating and urination. But when you add in the fact that your body is breaking down its own tissues for energy, you can see how quickly the weight can add up. Just imagine how much muscle mass you could lose over the course of 48 hours if your body is going through a breakdown of its own. But that's not all. Your blood pressure will also drop because when you're hydrated, your body can pump blood more efficiently. But when you're dehydrated, your blood volume drops, which means your heart has to work harder to pump blood throughout your body. This puts stress on your cardiovascular system and can lead to low blood pressure. Low blood pressure can cause you to feel dizzy or even faint. But that's not all. When your blood pressure drops, your kidneys will start to shut down because they won't get enough blood flow. This can lead to kidney failure and, in extreme cases, death. So at this point, it's probably clear that you shouldn't only drink water for 48 hours. But what exactly happens to your body after 48 hours? Well, by now, you'll probably be feeling pretty sick. You may have a fever, a rapid heartbeat, and difficulty breathing. And if you're still conscious, you'll probably want to eat something. But unfortunately, you won't be able to because your digestive system will have basically shut down by now. Even if you did eat something, your body would be able to digest it, because it doesn't have the fluids necessary to break it down. And even if it did somehow digest it, your body wouldn't be able to absorb any nutrients from the food, because it's too dehydrated. If you somehow made it past this stage, your body would start to go into organ failure, because all of your organs rely on water to function properly. Without water, they simply cannot work, and this means that you'd basically be dead. Now, obviously, this is an extreme scenario, and it would be extremely unlikely for someone to survive for 48 hours without drinking anything besides water. In fact, most people would die within 24 hours. But it's important to understand the dangers of dehydration so that you know how to stay safe. That being said, there are people who have gone without water for longer than 48 hours. There was a man named Angus Barty who went 88 days without drinking water. He had a rare medical condition that allowed him to survive without water. He lived in Australia and drank only water from his air conditioner. However, he had to be hospitalized multiple times due to complications from his condition. Despite this, he still holds the record for the longest time a person has gone without water. Another person who was able to survive without water for an extended period of time was Francisco Domingo Joaquim. He was a homeless man from Brazil who went 250 days without drinking water. However, he didn't hold his state record for long, because shortly after he died of tuberculosis. Now there are two main takeaways from these stories. First, humans cannot survive without water. Both of these men had to drink water in order to survive. Second, trying to survive without water is dangerous and should not be attempted. These men were able to survive without water for extended periods of time, but they suffered greatly because of it. They both spent multiple months in the hospital and they both eventually died. However, there are some people who can survive without water for longer than others. This is because everyone's body is different and some people are better at conserving water than others. For example, elite athletes often have a higher percentage of body fat than the average person, which means they have more water stored in their body. This allows them to go longer without water, but even the best athletes can only go so long. One study found that even elite triathletes need to drink water during ultra-endurance events to prevent dehydration. Now this is important because dehydration is no joke. When you're dehydrated, your body can't function properly and it can lead to serious health problems. So it's important to drink enough water every day to prevent dehydration. How much water you need depends on many factors, including your activity level, the climate you live in, and your overall health. But in general, men should be getting about 15.5 cups of water per day, while women should be getting about 11.5 cups of water per day. Now, if you want to know what would happen if you only ate water for 48 hours, check out the next video.